Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2024 and the fifth episode of this series with Newcastle United, where since the last episode we've gone over a month ahead in time and we have been on a fantastic run since the disappointment of failing to qualify for the Champions League knockout stages. We were really unlucky in that group not to make it through. We finished with 7 points. Last minute goal for Atletico Madrid sank our hopes. But even then, Lazio ended up winning the group in first qualification position. So even if we had beaten Madrid and finished on 10 points, it would not have been enough. So unfortunately, there was no realistic prospect of us getting out that group as soon as we lost to Lazio away from home 3-2. But in the league, things are going much better. We followed that game up with a 3-2 victory over Wolves, a really difficult one. We went 2-0 up and they pegged us back to 2-2. And it took until the 80th minute for Harvey Barnes to score the winner for us. We then had Chelsea come to visit and we dispatched them in one of the most routine victories that I have seen from our team this season. Tonali and Wilson both getting the goals. We then had Nottingham Forest come to visit and they did not enjoy their stay as we took 5 goals from them. Target, Isaac, Longstaff, Gordon and Guimaraes all scoring for that 5-0 win. Then there was a little trip down to Luton. They made us wait until the second half before we eventually broke through with Isaac and Torres scoring to give us that 2-0 win. And then again, a tough fixture. We took on Fulham away from home. We went 1-0 up. They pegged us back. Isaac scored again to make it 2-1. And then he got his hat-trick on 37 minutes. And they immediately responded to make it 3-2. But we did manage to see that one over the line to set up a home match with West Ham, which was also very routine. Joe Linton and Isaac within 3 minutes of each other in the first half. And Facundo Torres in the 81st minute. And at that point, we had won 6-7 on the trot in the Premier League, and I was feeling pretty good about our form. But then we went to Bramall Lane to play Sheffield United, and they quickly raced into a 2-0 lead. We managed to peg them back to 2-2 through an own goal and a Harvey Barnes beautiful finish from way outside the area. But Ryan Brewster had a penalty, which he dispatched in the 61st minute, which meant that we dropped points against Sheffield United in a very frustrating fashion. But then we played Northampton in the FA Cup and beat them 5-1 with a Miggy Almiron hat-trick in that game thanks to a penalty in the 58th minute. And that now sets up a difficult couple of fixtures. We've got United at home, Man City away and West Brom in the FA Cup as well. It'll be the Manchester games that we focus on today because they're both up towards the top of the table. And then there's a little run of games which again are not the most significant in the world. So might just focus on the 2 Manchester matches today and then next episode maybe pick up around this Chelsea-Liverpool fixture block because that's when some of the games get a bit more juicy. And we'll also be in the knockout stages of the Europa League at that point. Potentially also latter stages of the FA Cup as well. I've not made any transfers yet, even though it is January. Part of that is I'm just happy with how we're performing. If you look at the Premier League, we are 4 points clear of Liverpool and we have a game in hand. So Manchester United sitting a bit further back. City 10 points back, but they do have a game in hand. It's still fairly tight at the top, but Champions League football is looking pretty realistic at the moment. And then the Europa League is the next big challenge. This is just a playoff section, but there's nobody in that I'm particularly worried about. We'll have to see who makes it into the next round. I don't know if they'll show the teams yet. No, not yet. But there'll be some difficult fixtures ahead of us in that competition, I think. But let's go and play Manchester United now. We've got still some fitness issues in the team. Kieran Trippier is out for the season. Bove is now out for 3 weeks. Harvey Barnes out for a couple of weeks. Jacob Murphy has left on loan because Everton came in with a money bid for him of about 12 million. And he's not really playing for us except for when I have an injury to Livramento. And he may play at right back. But anyone can do as bad a job as Murphy at right back. So he's not necessary to the team. Bruno Guimaraes continues to pick up injuries. If we look at his injury history here, just this season alone, hamstring strain, pulled ankle ligaments, broken ankle, a groin strain, a twisted ankle. I don't know if that was the same ankle, but his time out is pretty prolific this season. He's actually only played 7 games. He scored his first goal in our last match, but then picked up another injury. So hopefully he will be all right for this match against Manchester United. Otherwise, the back four is pretty stable, midfield stable, and it's our strongest front three. So with Nick Pope in goal, I'm hoping that we can go one better than we did at Old Trafford, where we drew 4-4 in a high-scoring game. But it will be tough. They've got Garnacho, Rashford and Martial to terrorise our backline with pace. We do play a high backline, so they do have space to get in behind, but I'm not going to change my tactics just because of Manchester United. Midfield, they've got Scott McTominay in there. Defence is still a little bit curious, and then they've got Altay Bayindir in goal now as well instead of Onana. So we don't know if Onana's injured, but we do need to get the win today and open up that gap a little bit further with Manchester United. As it stands, they are 6 points behind us. That could grow to 9 points if we win today, and it'll also give us some breathing room over Liverpool, who have beaten Arsenal already. But here's Fernandes with a free kick. He plays it short. It's come to McTominay, and after some ricocheting around in the area, Eriksen is there to pump the ball home for 1-0 to Manchester United. Not the start that we wanted. Martinez, McTominay just bounced around. I think it even deflected off Almiron in the way, and it's a really cheap goal to concede, but we probably should have cleared our lines much earlier. And there is a question around whether that Sheffield United game is hanging over our head after we finally lost in the league. But here's Almiron trying to turn it around. He's got in the area, but that is straight at Bayindir in the Manchester United goal. We're starting to ramp up the pressure now with Target throwing it to Joe Linton. Finds Isaac on the edge of the area. He's going to have a shot, and he's put that... Oh, it's been pushed wide actually by the goalkeeper. I thought he just blasted that one. But it's a corner now to be taken by Torres. Cleared away to the other side. So 21 minutes in, and we are starting to knock on the door, but not with any real conviction at this stage. Rafael Varane plays that ball forward to Wan-Bissaka, who's forced to pump it up the pitch. Almiron does some cleaning up for us, and now we can build with Botman at the back, finding Joe Linton. He goes back and will probe again, this time down the left flank, but sent back through Botman once more. Joe Linton pushing down that left again with Target. Now Torres, and the ball lost, but Joe Linton cleans up. Time to go down the right maybe. Lascelles goes forward to Tonali. We're going through the middle. Now it's down the right with Livramento. He's got space as well. He takes it to the byline, and he finds Isak in the 6-yard box, about a yard out. He's scored quite a few of those this season, Isak, as he just touches it over the line to bring us back level. We did well there. It was probing. It took time, but Livramento finally gave the driving run, and that ball, the goalkeeper should have stuck a leg out really, but Isak was there, and he did stick his leg out to make it 1-1 against Manchester United. Now we are half an hour into this game. I'd say it's been pretty tense up to now, as Fernandes has another free kick. This time he does put the ball in the box instead of playing it short, but it's come back to Fernandes, and he has just missed the top corner there. They are definitely a very dangerous side, but seemingly it's a set-piece game that Ten Hag is all over at the moment, as it comes back to Eriksen, and finally Almiron steals the ball, and we can play it out to Livramento with a bit of time and space, which he's created for himself. Isak to Almiron, into Livramento, and he finishes his own move, his first goal for the club. There is a question of offside. He is very quick, so I could understand if they thought it was offside, but the goal has indeed been given. Isak there played it to Almiron, and this ball inside to Livramento is sensational, and he gave it the finish it deserved to make it 2-1 to us over Manchester United. We are heading towards half-time, having overturned the deficit to a 2-1 advantage, but Target here is trying to go for a third. He finds Torres. Bruno, oh, good stop there by the goalkeeper. Maybe wasn't quite close enough to the corner from Bruno to really thread in a goal, but we are still 2-1 up here over Manchester United, as Joe Linton cleans up the ball, and it is cleared by the Manchester United defenders. They play it in though. Martial's got straight in there. Nick Pope forced to make a decent save, but a little warning shot from Anthony Martial there about what happens when they do exploit that high defensive line we've got with their very pacey players. My main happy thought at the moment is that Garnacho started the game and hasn't troubled us yet, so he won't be coming off the bench to do what he did at Old Trafford, but he could do it anyway if he does get the breakthrough. And it's Rashford who's put it wide of the post when he probably should have scored. If he'd taken that on his left, he might have had more luck. But here's Torres with a corner, cleared out by McTominay to Botman, back to Torres, now Bruno, Joe Linton over the top. Bruno looks up for this one to me. He wasn't quite able to get the assist that time, but he's getting in the right area, creating the right chances, and hopefully he gets a long stretch without being injured, because we really need him if we're going to make this late push towards the title, or to hold on to our title at the end of this season. Fabian Schär's going to come into defensive midfield for us. We're also going to drop to a slightly more cautious approach and get Gordon on down the right flank to terrorise this United defence late in the day. That is, if they don't score before he can get on the pitch. Schär with a good tackle there, winning the ball for us. Now Torres is tackled but retains possession. Botman, everything going through him as we build attacks. Now target over the top, finds Isak, and that first time volley has gone into the back of the net. They're asking about offside. I don't think it was, but they will have a little look. And the goal is indeed awarded as we take a 3-1 advantage over Manchester United. Botman there played the ball out to target, and he dinked it over the top beautifully. He's out in behind the defender, and the goalkeeper may as well not have been there with the way that one just fired past him into the back of the net. 15 minutes left to go, but we look in control here. We're opening up a 9-point gap over Manchester United as it stands. City still to play later in the day as we look potentially for a fourth. With Fabian Schär going for goal, we know he can hit them from that sort of distance, but the keeper forced into another save, and it has been all Magpies up to now. Manchester United nowhere near as they clear another attacking threat from their area. We really came alive in the second half, and we have built up all of our chances since going 1-0 down in a really nice way. Now Isak to Torres. We're playing for fun now. Target to Schär. Livramento has put that one just wide of the post. And it remains 3-1 as we go in at full time. Ten Hag looks defeated because he is defeated. And we are now 9 points clear of Manchester United. 16 games to go this season, and we have a 7-point advantage at the top of the league. Well, we're the day before the January transfer window shuts now, but we have managed to do a little bit of business before the window does close. We've had a few junior players leaving the club. Obviously, we had Jacob Murphy going out on loan to Everton as well. But in terms of players signed, obviously we'd already brought in Torres and Bove at the start of the season. But with the cash injection from the club, we brought in a couple of other players who you might recognise if you've watched my Wonder Kids video. The big name is João Neves, who has come into central midfield. He's absolutely fantastic already. Stamina 16, natural fitness 17, everything else pretty solid. Work rate of 18, which you just love in a ball-winning or box-to-box midfielder in the centre. Good teamwork, good determination at 17, concentration 17, aggression and bravery both up there. The get stuck in might lead to a few red cards, but I'm perfectly fine with that. You can see he's now valued 123 to 169 million. 15 dribbling, 15 passing, 15 first touch, 14 technique. I love this wonder kid, and to bring him in for just 53 million as well, he's going to absolutely pay for himself in future years. And then the other youngster that I'm keen not to build up too much is Claudio Echeverri. His natural position is an attacking central midfielder, but I'm actually probably going to deploy him more as a striker this season as backup to Wilson and to Isak. He's only got 12 for finishing, which is why he's never going to be an out-and-out striker, but that 19 first touch, 14 dribbling, with the kind of football we play, will work well in that striker role, I think. He is lacking for stamina. Strength will come with time. Jumping reach is poor. So he won't ever be a world-class striker, but he will eventually turn into more of an inside forward down the left or the right. You can see all of his stats line up pretty well for those sorts of positions. But already both of these players have started, and you can see Claudio Echeverri, who I don't want to build up too much, has already bagged a hat-trick for the club on his debut as we beat West Brom 5-3. We went a goal down, but Echeverri managed to get an equaliser with an Isaac-style finish on the line after a cutback ball from the byline. They then scored again with the ball over the top, Shola Shortire getting the goal for them, but Miggy Almiron pulled one back to make it 2-2, and then Echeverri managed to break through in the second half. He had a loose pass that he managed to pick up from the West Brom defenders and then rounded the keeper to score. And then he got his hat-trick after a little bit of nice play with some other players around the edge of the area, sticking it in the back of the net after Joe Willock had also scored for us. So we managed to run out reasonably comfortably eventually against West Brom. And the interesting thing about that is if we look at the fifth round of the FA Cup, we're playing Aston Villa away from home, which is a tough draw. But you look at the other teams in there, no Man City, no Man United, no Liverpool, no Arsenal, just Spurs and Chelsea left. That is our trophy for the taking. But first off, we need to take on Manchester City away from home. It's a really tough match, but I was able to rest pretty much everybody for that game against West Brom and still get through. So we've got Isak, Torres and Gordon leading the line, Joelinton, Tonali and Bruno in midfield, Target, Botman, Lascelles, Livramento in defence, Pope in goal, and most importantly, no fitness flags on the first 11 for the first time in a very long time. Now, I think Man City will line up pretty strongly. Kyle Walker's got the armband with Stones, Diaz, Kanji, Rodri, Nunes, Kovacic, Rafinha, Foden and Haaland. And that is not the strongest team I've ever seen Manchester City field, which might explain why they're not quite charging towards the title this season. But that's not to say that we will get an easy win here at all. This is going to be a really difficult game, but I'm quite hopeful we might be able to get something. Here's Gordon down the right, takes on the defenders, it's cleared away. Gordon steals it again from Akanji. Tonali picks it up, he's in the area, and he has stuck that ball in the back of the net. Sandro Tonali, he may like to gamble, but boy is he a good footballer as we take a 1-0 lead over Manchester City. He's done absolutely excellently there. Gordon did the real work winning the ball. Tonali picked it up, and then how he even found the gap to get that ball into the back of the net, I don't know. But we have stormed into an early 1-0 lead against Manchester City. If we have a look at what that does to the league table, we would be top by 7 points, but Man City would be 10 points behind us. That's not to count them out of the title race at all, but this would put us in a great position. Joelinton to Isak inside the area, finds Gordon. It's come to Livramento, back into Isak. And that was so good from Livramento. He could have just put his foot through it, aiming for goal. But that ball back across the net really did just make the mind up for everybody. And Isak was able to put it in. Nice play. That ball across. Gordon couldn't get to it, but it rolled to Livramento, and Isak there, able to use the momentum of the ball coming towards him to push it back into the bottom corner past Ederson. And we now lead Manchester City 2-0 at the Etihad. It's time to sit back a little bit, play the counter game as much as we can. We can see Man United now winning their match. Liverpool have already, or are still playing actually. They're beating Chelsea 2-0 quite early on. Chelsea have been poor this season. You can see them on 32 points. They are 27 points behind us as it stands in the league. But what a first half that is from the boys as we take a 2-0 lead into the changing room, and we are in an excellent position for this second half. We're totally in control. City haven't actually threatened us yet, although Bruno giving the ball away like that will allow them to threaten us. Ederson now to Ruben Diaz, Kovacic through to Haaland, now Foden back to Stones, Joelinton with the tackle, now Isak out to Torres, and we are countering again here. We look so dangerous on the counter. Walker's given it away to Torres again, but Torres has completely toe poked underneath the ball there is the only way I could describe that kind of trajectory. But now they've got a free kick in a dangerous place. I don't know who's over it. Probably Foden would be my guess. Have a look. It's a long delay before he takes his free kick. It's Calvin Phillips, of all people, over the free kick. And he's hit that post, Calvin Phillips. Not who I would have expected to take that free kick at all. But Kovacic got in. And Pope has just managed to flick an arm at that to push it out for a throw-in on the far side. But a little warning shot, both from Phillips and from Kovacic there, that Man City can still get back into this game. They're making the substitutions to try and do that as Haaland drives at our defence. Joe Linton wins it but gives it back to Haaland, and Pope with a very, very good save. After this corner, I'm just going to make a couple of substitutions to try and keep us fresh as Rafinha puts it in and Pope catches the ball. Now in defence, going to have to be Lewis Hall going back there. Midfield, bring João Neves on. And up front, it's going to be Callum Wilson coming onto the pitch. João Neves making his Premier League debut for the last 20 minutes of the game at the Etihad, where we are 2-0 up. Kyle Walker's gone on for Lewis now. Man City have rolled all of their dice trying to get back into this game. We have less than 10 minutes of normal time. Chelsea trying to get back into their game with Liverpool, but it doesn't really matter to us. We're going to be 7 points clear, and we have got a reasonably easy fixture run to the end of the season. Absolutely sensational the way the team are performing. We're actually 9 points clear because Chelsea got an equaliser against Liverpool. So we're now 9 points clear at the top of the league. 10 points clear of Man City and Aston Villa in the race for Champions League football. That is utterly fantastic that we've managed to put ourselves in that position. Because when you look at the schedule, Fulham, Bournemouth, Villa, Luton all coming up next. Forest and Wolves as well. So that should be 6 wins. The Villa game will be tough, but 6 wins that should be. Then we have a really tough run of Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs and Arsenal. But Spurs and Arsenal and Chelsea have all been poor this season. They are the weaker of the teams we could face, and Liverpool are at home anyway for us. And then that end of the season running where it really does get tight, even if we have faltered by that point. We've got a nice sort of coast towards the end of the season, it has to be said there, because that is 13th, 18th, 9th, 6th and 10th. So all very winnable fixtures. So it's going to be an exciting run through the next few games. I think where we pick up next will probably be this Chelsea-Liverpool double header, because these games are juicy but not quite enough to put a good episode around. So we'll probably pick up for this really tough fixture run to see if we can get our foothold on the title absolutely secure. But if you did enjoy this episode, do drop a like down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more episodes from this season. But until next time, see ya.